Well, hello there. A few months ago I decided to buy the Ellen White Research Edition, Comprehensive Research Edition CD. I can recommend this product for those who are interested in doing anything in relation to Ellen White research. Some friends of mine bought the same CD on my recommendation, and I found that they struggled to use it. So it has occurred to me that it might be worth our while to put up a tutorial introducing one to how to use the software for the researching anything to do with Ellen White. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the program. Okay, and there it is. It shows up as the EGW Research 2008, and that is the folder which will bring me into the software that I want to use. The software that I'm going to use is obviously the first item on the list, with the red lettering at the start. Now this brings me to the first page in the whole edition. As you'll notice, on the left side there are a number of categories which you can look at, and this is the default page. This is the page that will be brought up when we click on this button here, and that should show this by default, this list here by default, which is your books, periodicals, pamphlets, and everything that is published by her. For those who are interested in further topics, we can go to the biography page, and there you'll get a lot of information about the life and times of Ellen White. We have here a topical index, which I won't comment about for now. We'll do that in another tutorial. We have a scripture index. We also have a bibliography. The King James Version Bible, and I'm just going to give myself a bit more space here. You'll notice that I'm just dragging this little line across as I give myself some more space. And now we can go to Ellen White Stories. We can go to Ellen White Reference Works. We can go to Research Documents and the Webster Dictionary, and we have a few more things down here, such as help tutorials if you feel that you'd like to use them rather than listen to me. We have the Words of the Adventist Pioneers, and at the bottom, historical works, which I personally found very interesting, because here you can see we can go back to some of the original sources that she refers to in some of her writings. For example, in The Great Controversy, you'll notice that she often refers to the history of Protestantism by James A. Wiley. Okay. Alright, well, let's go back to the E.G. White writings, and you can see we have the books here and a whole stack of other things. Now, a very important tip here: if for some reason or other you ever get lost, and that is easy to do, we can just click on the home page and that will take us straight back to the start. So that's one way of getting ourselves adjusted. Now what I'm going to do is click back on the browse button, and that lets me see the book index and the various other things. Now you'll notice here that there's where I'm waving the mouse is a little plus sign. I will click on that and it will then show a minus sign. The minus sign does obviously the opposite to what the plus does. In this case I've clicked on the plus to show me every single book that was ever published under her name, and then I can click the minus to take that back, and I can then go and look at something else, say for example periodicals. Now the periodicals is quite important. You will notice when you look through the periodicals that there are sometimes missing dates. For example, if you look at the advance here, you've got here March 1 and June 1, but that doesn't necessarily mean those are the only magazines or periodicals that were published under that name. That simply means that those are the only things, magazines in which Ellen White published something under her own name. If you're looking for the complete set of periodicals, you would have to go to the General Conference website, which I'll point out to you in another tutorial. Okay, so someone has told me that there is something in the Great Controversy, so I'm going to go down to the Great Controversy and I'm going to look through the codes. The codes that are here are the abbreviations which have commonly come into common usage in the English world. Now I'm going to look for GC, which is the Great Controversy. You'll notice here that there are two Great Controversy editions. One is the 1888 edition and the other one is the 1911 edition. Given that both of these editions were published when Ellen White was alive, I have no problem personally making use of the 1911 edition as a de facto way of addressing her works. Now I'm going to click on the plus sign in, which I've just done, and I'm now going to take a look at the chapter that I might be interested in. For example, I've decided that I'm interested in the French Reformation. I want to bring the French Reformation to the front of the screen, so now I'm going to double click and you will see that now I can begin to read the information that I want to see in the French Reformation. So this is a very brief summary of how we can navigate around the various chapters. One thing that I think is missing in this CD, which would be nice, would be a way of being able to go straight to a particular page number, such as this one here. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case as far as I'm aware, but it's something that the authors or producers of the CD may think about in the future. Okay, so I'm going to close up the Great Controversy, and I might want to now go to somewhere in the testimonies. Now the testimonies, as I seem to remember, are, yes, here they are, under T, and I'm going to go to the second testimonies, and I have a table of contents. Now, if I remember rightly, the table of contents lets me go and does it give me, no, there's no hyperlink. I was looking for a hyperlink, but there's no hyperlink there. Okay, so there, as you can see, I can very quickly jump from one thing to another. Now, suppose for some reason or other I wanted to go back and have a look at something else that was another database, I can do that. Yeah, so that's the end of my navigation tutorial. If anyone has any questions, they can put them into a comment on YouTube. Ciao.